We like to call it the Supernatural Hour. And now, our hosts.
Hey, welcome back to the Supernatural Hour.
I am Ravyn.
This is Doc.
And Chad.
So, in our paranormal junk drawer, there is a freeway in Florida called the I-4. It's known as the Haunted Freeway. Every day, thousands of drivers are on their commute. And it's just an unassuming, it's called the Haunted Freeway, but it's just a freeway. If I hadn't told you about it, you'd be on it. You'd just be like, here we are, going to wherever we're going. But it's a battle stretch in Sanford, Florida. And they say it's one of the most haunted highways in America. It's just a little bit north of Orlando, and it passes over a lake called Lake Monroe. Now, in this area in the 1970s, there's a real estate tycoon, and his name was Henry Sanford, and he marketed that whole southern shore of this lake to immigrants and citrus farmers that came in. And he's like, hey, come buy my land. And he actually sold about 640 acres to a group of German immigrants, and they founded St. Joseph's in this area. And, it's the 1870s, and it's humid, and it's hot, and disease kind of ravaged everything, and everything was hard. And they just weren't really able to get a whole lot of success. And in 1887, they had a break of yellow fever that came through and just took out almost everybody. There were survivors, buried their dead in the woods. They're like, okay, we're going to bury and this didn't work. This is too hard. We're out. We're done. Over the years, the land changed hands. These people bought it, these people bought it. It just became part of the city of Sanford. The story of St. Joseph's became a local legend, and people talked about it. And it said that anyone who went and tampered with the graves had deadly consequences, which is pretty typical. You don't go mess with graves. People come haunt you.
Desecrating gravesites, generally a bad idea. I saw Poltergeist.
You know how that works.
Yeah, exactly. Don't build on them, don't move them, don't do any of that stuff.
And you hear a lot, with Native American, you mess with those, bad things happen. And some of the things, locals say that a farmer's house burned down after he removed the grave markers. A drunk driver after he dug around in the site of these burials. And they just had enough activity that would occur in this area that they called it the Field of the Dead. Okay, so we've got the Field of the Dead. Well, Florida said, we are going to build a freeway, and we think that we should just lay part of it in this area called the Field of the Dead, because that sounds awesome. Apparently, They haven't seen Poltergeist.
Excellent idea.
So this field was sold to the state. They bought it. The graves were initially marked for relocation, but they were either forgotten or deemed unimportant, paved over. They never relocated any of these graves. Not too long after this happened, Hurricane Donna came in. It unexpectedly kind of turned course towards Sanford, passed over these grave sites, and this was in September of 1960, left devastation just like everywhere. Did you like that noise? Let me do it again?
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it again. After that, they say that it was one of many strange occurrences just in that area. Just weird things happened. There was no way that hurricane should have turned that way, but it did when it got there. So now, there's this freeway laid over this area, and drivers who take this I-4 over the Lake Monroe area, they've reported strange interference on their radios. Some have claimed to see apparitions on the road. Long-haul truckers claim that their CB radios will blast with static while driving over the stretch of highway. It's extremely prone to deadly car accidents and has gained a grim nickname of the I-4 Dead Zone.
Remind me never to apply for a job in Sanford, Florida.
Yeah, so...
Not interested.
The I-4 Dead Zone. Sounds pretty creepy. So it says, whether or not you believe in the supernatural or not, you should use caution and look twice before changing lanes, because that's one of the causes of many deadly accidents. People think they see something and they change lanes really fast.
That sounds like sound advice anywhere you live.
Yep.
But particularly in Sanford.
So the funny thing is, on this, when I was reading about it, there was a note before you go, and I'm just going to read this verbatim because I think it's kind of funny in a creepy way. It says, I-4 spans above the actual St. Joseph site, which is accessible off of US 17/92. The land is owned by the state, and it is not advisable to enter. The site can also be viewed by water on the St. Johns River. So know before you go. They literally tell you it is not advisable to drive that freeway.
Who posted this?
So don't.
It's like florida.gov or something. We got a problem. We got a haunted freeway, so don't get out of your car.
Yeah, there you go. Your paranormal junk drawer. We opened it and we found a haunted freeway.
There we are.
Very interesting.
Doc, what is on your bucket list?
Bucket list. One of the places that I was planning on going this summer, but COVID-19 decided to throw a wrench into, was the Scottish Highlands in Loch Ness.
See, I would love to go there as well. I've actually been to Loch Ness.
Have you now?
I have. It was a...
Okay, let me give my interpretation.
Okay.
You remember when Chevy Chase goes to the Grand Canyon in Vacation?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I kind of get that's Ravyn's experience at Loch Ness.
Proceed.
Okay.
Do you not? Do you understand what that is? It's like he gets out, looks at the car, and goes,
That was
up and
great.
down a couple times, and gets the car.
Get in the
and
car.
goes.
Let's go.
Yeah, actually, that's exactly how it went down. So I was on a bus tour, which is fabulous in a lot of ways. But the problem with a bus tour is you're sucked into their timeline.
Right.
And to me, Loch Ness was, we're going to get out and we're going to go stick our feet in the water and we're going to sit and we're going to have our camera and the monster's going to poke his head up after about an hour.
Because it always does.
It does. After about an hour, and I'm going to take a picture of it and I'm going to become famous because I got a picture of it. That's how it was going to go down.
Well,
That's how it was planned
That's
out.
how I expected to go down for me.
Yeah, I thought it might take an hour or two, but I'll get that picture. No, it was like a photo op. They pull up, they're like, okay, everybody off the bus, take a picture, get back on, 10 minutes, we're out. I'm like, I can't find the Loch Ness Monster in 10 minutes.
Come on, you got to give me more than 10 minutes.
Exactly.
For me, it's not even, I don't know, I'm fairly open-minded, but an open-minded skeptic. I just love how myths and folklore evolve, and I would love to go and just hear the stories and see the pictures and kind of dive into how this myth came about.
Well, and as long as you're in Scotland, and I'm going to throw like you get a bonus bucket list today.
All right.
As long as you're in Scotland, you got to go to Edinburgh and go ghost hunt the vaults.
Ooh, the vaults.
The vaults.
Please.
And again, if we don't want to get too much into that because we'll do an episode on the vaults. We did one several years ago, but we'll revisit it because the vaults are cool.
And those crazy guys that would go dig up bodies.
Yep.
Yeah, I wasn't here for that podcast, so I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
Hare and somebody?
Burke and Hare. They're both
Vaults and digging up bodies. Got it.
body snatchers.
Can't wait.
Not the alien body snatchers. We keep trying to get into aliens on this
Or
podcast.
angels. You don't know.
Okay, so
There's that Starship song.
No. We got to come away from the aliens.
Isn't that?
You guys are
we
fired.
thought they were angels.
You
Much
guys are
to my
fired.
surprise. They got into their starship and flew
Wow.
into the sky.
We've got openings for podcast hosts. I'm firing these two. Okay, so as far as some residentials, it's been a little slow, which is pretty normal this time of year, but we have 2 coming up. So by the next time we record, we should have some residential stories for you of how those have gone down. Those are always fun, and I enjoy those a lot. We've taken a step up in our sound system.
The Attic of Despair. What are we going to call this place?
I don't know. But we've got sound dampening stuff. So our goal is this is hopefully going to be the best sounding podcast that we've put out. I'm pretty stoked. We have upgraded our studio. What did Beaker call our old studio? The Basement of Doom?
The Dungeon of Doom.
Dungeon of Doom. Well, we have actually kind of put together we've taken a step up in our sound system.
The Attic of Despair. What are we going to call this place?
I don't know. But we've got sound dampening stuff. So our goal is this is hopefully going to be the best sounding podcast that we've put out. I'm pretty stoked. Actually, October is my absolute favorite month because that's when Halloween is, and Halloween is awesome, let's face it. But Christmas is pretty awesome too. The problem I have, though, is when you decorate for Halloween, you can be so creative. And when you decorate for Christmas, I don't know, to me, you just can't be creative. There's beautiful things. Don't get me wrong. I love Christmas lights, and my whole house, it took us a whole day to redecorate to Christmas, and I love it. But when you say things like, oh, let's put baby Jesus climbing out of the ground with his hands stretched up, that's just kind of creepy. You can't do that. You can't be as creative. Anyhow, but I do love Christmas, and I love Christmas time. I love baking. So let's talk about some business first.
Okay, for business. One of our December activities is the Utah Food Bank. There's a link out on advanceparanormal.com where you can go out and donate to the Utah Food Bank to help those people that are less fortunate and in need of some help.
Oh yeah, it's been rough.
It's a hard one. We don't have any apps or activities planned for December itself.
We figure it's busy enough.
It's always crazy. It's always hard to try to get everything in, and we're just glad that you can tune in and listen to us and find out what's going on and keep in touch that way. And at last, get your Supernatural Hour swag at tpublic.com. The best and easiest way to do it is to go to advanceparanormal.com and hit the merchandise tag, and it'll link you right there and link you right to our stuff.
Yep, and I'm actually wearing my shirt today.
You are. I've got one
Just
also.
to be festive. I might get a hoodie. It's cold. I'm kind of in a hoodie mood.
They've got some really neat merchandise there, and you can get Supernatural Hour logos and things on lots of different
and
stuff.
Tons of stuff. And I went in and added it because that's how I roll.
Mugs?
We got mugs.
I
I'm
want a
like,
mug.
you can have this on a mug. I want one.
Heck
I
yeah.
don't actually have one, but if you want it, it's there. Tapestries. You can get a tapestry.
What?
So
Tapestry.
That reminds me of Indiana Jones. Tapestries.
So go to advanceparanormal.com, hit the merchandise tab, and right to the Supernatural Hour page there so you can see the logos, and you can have different Supernatural logos, Hour and logos put on different things.
Awesome.
Happy holidays, y'all.
Haunt on, my spooky friends.
We'll see you. Good night.
Good night.
You've been listening to the Supernatural Hour at AdvancedParanormal.com. The Supernatural Hour is part of the Radio Ronin network found at RadioRonin.com. Copyright by Advanced Paranormal Services.